What's going on, man? Donnie today. Two videos today. Um, Listen, maybe it's a little bit late, but I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the whole Luka Doncic situation and what I've seen, what I've read. And sometimes it's good to wait because you can hear more backstory, more backdrop, for the whole situation and everything. And the main articles coming out from Dallas is talking about conditioning. Of course, Luka is going to refute that. Some of his new teammates now are refuting that. Finney Smith being one of them. They're reunited as teammates, and he's refuting that. And I say the truth always lies somewhere in the middle. The truth always lies somewhere in the middle. Do I think Luka Doncic should have been traded? Probably not. But it's a crazy situation when you think about it. Because if I think about it, you know, yes, Luka Doncic is talented, but the concerns about his fitness sometimes it can't be that far off. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but it could. I believe it's part of the reason. Like you have to understand that sometimes there are players in the league, no matter how great they are, they're gonna be due a lot of money, and you have to take that risk and make that decision if you want to pay him that. And we have seen in the last couple of years, unfortunately, people don't want to admit it, when we said that there's a concern for a fitness or health reason of players, that it usually is true. And Zion is the biggest example of that. We said that Zion should have stayed another year, said that his weight was a problem, and it turns out to be the biggest problem he's out in the NBA. So I can see why this is the case. Plus, Luka doesn't play any defense. Now you can also argue that does that matter? Does that matter? If you have offensive talent that he has, that is probably some of the best you've ever seen. And I say yes, it does, because if they're paying you money that they were due to pay you over 300 mil, so then that means that you're going to be not only the face of the franchise, you're going to be the guy they build around, probably after Kyrie as well. But Kyrie is actually the it factor here, because I'll talk about it a little bit more later. But if you have Kyrie already, you could get rid of Luka Doncic and build a more complete team. But then again, it's like, would you make that risk though? Like, you get rid of Luka now, and now you have AD, who is good, but he's not Luka. Now Luka can turn around and say, "Listen, you guys are all liars, and I'm gonna prove you wrong, and watch me become the most conditioned guy, or at least the most conditioned version of myself that you guys have ever seen." So I'm giving you both sides at the same time to tell you that the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I do think it's a contributing factor because we could see that. Sometimes he does gain a little bit of weight. He does like to have a drink. He does like to maybe have a little smoke or something. Everybody does, but you're still a pro, and I know a lot of people are laughing and commenting, "Oh, I don't care what he does. He can have a beer in his hand down the court. I wouldn't trade him." I don't know, man. A lot of these guys now in the league getting hurt. A lot of guys, big money guys, are getting hurt. You know, Conditioning is part of the contract. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I'm trying to tell you guys sometimes. It's part of the contract. You can't, like, look at Philly. Philly is a good example. You go all in on Joel Embiid. This guy is never healthy. When he's on, he's great, but he's not healthy enough for you to make a serious run for the championship, which is what you would want if you give somebody a supermax. You can't just be giving out supermax out here to just have a star player play for you for 10 years and then not win. Dallas made it to the finals last year, which is not a crazy point. They made it to the finals, and if we're that confident that it wasn't going to work out, that they decided to trade him. Look, man, I'm telling you, the truth is somewhere in the middle here. Yes, Luka might not be the most conditioned guy, but he's probably the most talented guy you had since Dirk Nowitzki. He is the most talented guy you have since Dirk Nowitzki. Maybe better than Dirk in the end, who knows? But Dirk delivered when it mattered. So if they didn't feel that from Luka, now you've built this team that's very good with a great point guard in Kyrie Irving, and a lot of people are not talking about that. I think since you have Kyrie, it made more sense to me. If you didn't have Kyrie, this would have been one of the worst trades of all time. But you still have Kyrie Irving. I remember times in the finals last year, I would watch them. I'm like, it's hard for these two guys to play together. And Kyrie is not the best defensive guy, but he'll give more effort than Doncic does. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you take away a Doncic, does that really mean you can't get back there? I don't think so. I think it's still possible for them to get back there. Now they don't want to pay him 300 million. he goes to the Lakers, Luka, and now at the same time you have an opportunity to become the best version of yourself, but there's also a problem where now you have to really play defense too, because your team is not as complete as it once was. So, if you're Luka, like, yes, you can prove people wrong, but you're gonna have to prove that you really are this guy now, because the Lakers don't really have much else for you at this time as far as championship contender, aspirations. You can have a good record, individually, and play basically not for yourself, but maybe play for individual awards. But you don't have the team to back up like any type of accolades, team wise. So that will be on Luca to decide what he does. But let your boy know in the comment section what you think. It's your boy Don. Like, comment, subscribe, enjoy these videos, and I'll see y'all later. Peace. I'm out.